Come with me to do a number 9 ceramic crown prep. So what I started out by doing was making a putty matrix, and here is that. And then I always like to measure my burrs, even though I know that they're 1 millimeter, just to make sure that I have the correct burr. And then I'm gonna start with doing the incisal portion, and I'm gonna make some depth cuts on the incisal. I like to start out with only doing about 1 millimeter to even just 1/2 millimeter depth cut on the incisal, because after I do all of my other reductions, the incisal just shortens anyways. So these are what those depth cuts look like. These ones are only about 1/2 millimeter because this was my first time doing it, and I always get scared the first time, so I'm definitely very conservative. And after that, I'm gonna connect all of those depth cuts so that it's kind of even all the way across. Next, I'm going to start on the facial portion of the tooth, which is the side that's closest to the lips. And this is what it looks like when I am using the putty matrix to check if I have got enough reduction. And at this point in time, I don't, because I want to have 1 millimeter of reduction, which is that first black line at the bottom portion closest to the gingiva. And at this point here, I want 1.2. After I get the facial reduction where I want it, I start on the interproximal, which is the portion in between the teeth. And I just start by pushing my burr through, and I leave a little sliver in between so that I don't hit the tooth next to it. First time I did this, I started out with a really small burr, but I honestly got more comfortable and started to use a larger burr. But here you'll see that little sliver in between, and I just break that off with a marginal trimmer. And once I break that portion off, I'm gonna start working on my margin, which is kind of that little shelf you see, and I want that to be only 0.5 above the gingiva, so right now it's way too high. And then I'm going to start by doing the other side. And again, I start by making the little sliver, and then I eventually break that off, and then I get the margin where I like it. Once I have the interproximals where I want them to be, I continue those into the back of the tooth or the lingual portion and connect them. And then I work on the lingual portion. I haven't found a good way to film that or even show that at this point. And this is the finished product after I've checked all of my reductions with my putty matrix within the mouth. I do that before I take it out because that's how we have to do it on the practicals. So once I'm completely done, I will take it out of the mouth and then remeasure everything just to make sure it's exactly what I want. And then I'm going to take it to get graded.